again. If we're talking about the QM software that goes with Excel and comes with the textbook, click on a link and it takes you to this screen. If you have a PC, you want to download version 5.3 here. If you're working with Macs, you want to download this version. In both cases, I think it will give you a file that downloads to this area. And I'm on my Mac right now. So let's click on that. Do you want to allow downloads? Yeah, sure, allow. So it goes up there and it downloads it. If I open it, I've got this file. I dragged, you can see here's my file right here. I've dragged it down there. If I open this file, and let me drag that into the picture here, it gives me all these things. Help, blah, 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 blah. And that's how I will open this thing. It has a license. It has Excel AM, a couple of those files. It has a README PDF if you want it, and it has help files. But really, when I want to run it, I just open the file that I've saved down here, and it's got all that stuff in there, and I don't run it often enough on my Macs. I can't remember which one to do it, but let's say I think it's this one, Excel QM version 5. And the reason I put it on my desktop is all the files I need in there. It's got to be able to access the license, and that didn't seem to do anything. So that's obviously not the file I want to open. Oh, there it goes. Now it opened up. This workbook contains macros. Do you want to disable the macros? No, I want the macros there because that's why I'm opening it. So I don't have Excel open until I click on that, and it automatically opens Excel. So it brings up Excel, and when I see the name Howard J. Weiss, who came up with the software, I'm all for it. It's asked me to enable macros again. I'll do it. And it brings me this book. Upon selecting a module from QM menu or on the QM menu in the Excel QM tab, that will appear on the ribbon after you choose it, so that's fine. The first time you do, it's going to ask you a mess of questions. Go with most of the defaults. So if I go to here, Excel QM, it opens up by chapter or by QM menu. So let's go by chapter. And the chapter is decision analysis, and I want decision tables. So I'm going to say it's Thompson lumber, and we have two name for each alternative. I think we had three because we had a do nothing. Remember, do nothing is always one, and two states of nature. And we'll call it market conditions. The bad part about QM is you got to set up all of this before you actually do it. So we want to maximize. We want to, let's call it TL for the, and I'm not sure if it picks this number up for the sheet or this name up for the sheet. I want to maximize, and I like to have it all, so I'm going to go with Hurwitz and everything all on one table, and I say OK. Oop, didn't like that. Something happened. Oh, there it is. It still gave it to me. So I have this blank thing. And I have market condition 1, market condition 2. And if I want, I will call this favorable market, unfavorable market, large plant, small plant, and do nothing. What would we say the payoff was here? 200, I believe. $200,000. And what was the payoff here? Minus $180,000. Unfavorable market. You build a large plant, you lose 180. Small plant, favorable market, you make 100 grand. Otherwise, in an unfavorable market, you lose 20,000. And the do nothing part was very nice. 0, 0. Now, sometimes this is hard to read. So I might come up here and go home and just put a comma. And that will make it easier to read. And it makes it like an accounting thing, so the zeros become that. And the negatives become parentheses, so you got that. Or you can make a dollar amount, you could do that. Either way, however you choose to do it, but I think I'll go just commas. The probabilities do not add up to 1 because they don't have probabilities. So we want to do the 0.5 like they did in the textbook? Sure. Put 0.5, 0.5. Boom. Now I got my, and I didn't do a Hurwitz. I think they did 0.8. Let's be different and do 0.2. In which case you see, in each case, let's find out the best one. So in the EMV, it's obviously the minimum size, the small planet. For the maxi-max or mini-max, it's the least of the negatives. And for the maxi-max, it's the max of the maxes. So we have that. And here for Hurwitz, we would get that decision. And when we look at the expected values for both the regret tables, we would get those decisions. So again, I think I would go with I would look at all of them and pick the one that occurs most often. And if that's what I wanted to do, I'd feel real happy about my decision. But the textbook will be asking you to do other questions. So this is an easy way to do it. Notice that, and I don't need this. This just gives you some direction. You can get rid of that. Notice that even though it asked me to label the worksheet and label the thing Thompson lumber, it didn't do either. So I probably got to do it myself, and I'll call it Thompson lumber, TL for Thompson lumber. So I'll save this file, and if I was going to do homework, I would go over here and say insert text box. And I would probably put it right here, and I'd say in this text box, I will put full sentence answers the way, in the manner Professor G has prescribed. So I don't have to write full sentences, so I'm writing build small plant. A. Oops, that's not A, it's 2. A. Using Hurwitz with alpha equals 0.2, we would build a small plant as the maximum value is $40,000. And if I want to color code that differently, this is the way, there are a lot of numbers here. How do I know you've interpreted the numbers right? This is why I use the text box. And I hate white text box, so I will put some shading in it. I will put some light gray shading, and it sticks out, and blah, blah, blah. There is my answer. That's how I would do these kinds of problems. And you got a little experience in downloading Excel. If you're going to do the, let's move this out. Let's move this out. And if you want to download the PC version, it downloads a file that you actually have to run. So you execute that file, it will create an Excel file someplace find out where it went, and I'd still put it on a desktop. I think that's the best way to do it. Okay? Hopefully this helps you, and look forward to seeing your homework this week.